Okay, sellers, buyers, post-lockdown 3.0. I'm going to share with you some insights and some things for you to consider as we hopefully and ideally come out of lockdown here in South Australia as of midnight tonight. So firstly, I want to start off, hope you're all happy, healthy and well, and ready to kick things up a gear come midnight tonight, leading into a sense of normality tomorrow. So I just wanted to give you some, little tips, some pointers to be mindful of what I've experienced over the last 7 days during lockdown as a local real estate agent, what I've experienced in previous lockdowns that we've had within our state, and what we're likely to experience or can expect in the weeks and the next month or so to come. So firstly and foremost, one of the common conversations I'm having with aspiring home sellers at the moment is, if you have scope to bring your selling plans forward, I would highly recommend and encourage that you do that now. The reason being, if we look back historically on previous lockdowns, the contraction in for sale supply has been at its lowest point after every single lockdown. So all that simply means, if you're a seller and you come onto the market after every lockdown, the for sale supply has been at its absolute lowest point, which means there's less homes for your home to compete against if you're a seller. So spring is knocking on the doorstep. We've got about 5 weeks to spring, a season that we typically see every year, an increase in for sale supply. So any of my aspiring homeowners and sellers that have aspirations to sell in the next sort of 30, 60 days plus, I'm having conversations, and I'll be encouraging the same for you if you're an aspiring home seller, is if you've got scope, bring it forward, because in the next 4 to 5 weeks before spring, we're going to see the lowest for sale supply during this period of winter. And it's proven, folks, it's proven after every lockdown, prices have elevated on homes for that simple reason, because buyers are going to be absolutely like this. They're like bulls ready to burst out the gates. Now, I'll give you an example. Even though I can't physically show buyers through properties right now, I'm still fielding buyer inquiries daily. I'm getting on average between 4 to 6 inquiries per day from buyers looking to buy a property. Now, they're from local buyers, but I would say half of those are from interstate buyers as well. So what's going to happen as soon as lockdown opens things up this week, those buyers that have been lining up for the last 7 days, let's call it, I've had about 30 inquiries over the last 7 days as one real estate agent. Imagine all the thousands of other real estate agents that have also been fielding the same buyers and the same inquiries, so that when things open up as of midnight tomorrow, it's like opening the gate up. Those buyers are going to be like a bull out of a gate, and they're going to hit this weekend in big numbers. And what's going to happen? Those buyers are going to realise there's very little to choose from. So what's going to happen is the properties that are still on the market pre-lockdown are going to have a tremendous amount of heat in those homes this weekend. They're likely going to sell this weekend. Moving into the following week or two after that, supply is even going to taper off, because of what little stock is available this week is likely to be snapped up this week. So in the next week or two, we will see the lowest contracted for sale supply market that we've seen for all of winter. And keep in mind, it's historically proven, and it's happened time and time again, post-lockdown, property prices have elevated for that exact reason. The other thing I'm going to encourage is, I was talking to a homeowner and seller today, is you can get away with 1%ers. So this particular lady was replacing all the carpets on her home, right? She was spending a substantial amount of money, and in a market that's got an abundance of supply, yes, you need to be very closely focused on the 1%ers with your property's presentation that will make you stand out against potentially who you're competing against. But the reality is, right now, because of the points I've just mentioned previously, you're going to be competing against far few homes. So don't use up the next weeks or months to be bogged down in little 1%er stuff that is really fastidious and too particular, that the buyer today, in today's market, is not going to care about, because they're just going to try and secure what limited stock is available to them. So as much as I'm all about, shining and having the best show home presentation, just understand we can creatively coach and guide and educate you on where 1%ers are worthwhile in this market or not. And that can entail property styling as well. It can entail how you present your home to sell. But in this marketplace, The example I give, if there was 5 homes like yours on the market, yeah, you gotta shine, you gotta focus on the 1%ers. Whereas if there's 0 homes on the market like yours right now, I'd say don't worry about those 1%ers, get it on the market, because now is absolute prime time. What generally happens post-lockdown is we see this about a month period where there's no stock on the market because of seller consumer confidence, right? Then what happens is after about a month period onwards, seller consumer confidence comes back into the market because the lockdown's behind us, things are easing, right? So generally what happens is we start to see more properties trickle back onto the market post a lockdown 4 or 5 weeks past the lockdown. So that's why I say spring is knocking on our door 4 or 5 weeks away. Consumer confidence will be back, I'm sure, with easing restrictions, lockdown behind us. Spring will be a real telling time to see if we see more properties come onto the market because of season, more sellers starting to move about because of consumer confidence, and also because of more sellers cashing out on most certainly the most favorable market we've seen for generations. So keep that in mind. Consumer seller confidence will come in the weeks to come post-lockdown. Buyers, my tip to you guys and girls is simply as always, be armed, be ready, okay? Don't muck around. If you don't have a pre-approval in place, don't even shop around, I'd encourage. And if you're liking something you want, go in strong, go in at the top end of the price range, even above it, to try and secure it, okay? The other thing I'm gonna suggest to you as buyers is don't always look at just realestate.com.au, okay? I know that's one of the biggest portals and apps that most buyers will utilize, but I want you to know this: a lot of us agents, myself included, are releasing properties first to those buyers and that are following us on our social channels, so Instagram and Facebook, but we're also releasing properties often to domain.com.au and homely.com.au before they even go on to realestate.com.au. Now that might only be a few days, it might only be a week, but I always encourage, download the Domain app, have a look on there as much as what you're looking on realestate.com, because sometimes properties will be released there first before they're even put onto realestate.com. So they're my little tips, folks. The insights are we're going to see a super hot market in the coming 4 to 5 weeks period leading into spring. If you are a seller and you've got scope to bring your plans forward, that would be my encouragement. We're going to see the tightest contracted for sale supply market in the next month than we've seen throughout the entire of winter. My tip is absolutely we'll see prices continue to elevate for that reason. And you don't need to focus on the little tedious 1%ers. If you are a seller coming to market and you're a little bit unsure about what to do or what not to do, reach out to me. I'd happily give you some neutral guidance and advice, but keep in mind, sellers, all these buyers have been waiting back for the last 7 days. They've been spending more time at home, researching, looking at properties time and time again. What's on the market, what's not on the market. Of what's on the market, they're going to be looking at it 10, 15 times at the same home. So when that one comes available to view at, they're going to be that bull out of the gate. Keep this in mind too. If 50% of the inquiries I'm receiving in Salisbury Council, Port Adelaide Enfield Council, Tea Tree Gully Council, and a little bit of Playford Council, if 50% of those buyers are coming from interstate, i.e. Victoria and New South Wales, well, guess what? The Eastern Seaboard could be in further lockdown. So when our marketplace opens up, I can bet you bottom dollar those buyers from the eastern states are going to be super aggressively buying up here in South Australia, as they've already been doing, because they're in lockdown, they're in restrictions, and as a state we're leading the way in these health factors. But not only that, most certainly we're extremely affordable in comparison to the pricing points of the Eastern Seaboard. So just understand, buyers, you'll be competing against a lot of Eastern Seaboard state buyers. A lot of these buyers are cashed up. They're going in unconditional. They're going in at the top of the range. They're going in above the range. A lot of them are cash. Money under the mattress, in the bank, ready to go. There's no mucking around. So just understand, if you're a local buyer, in the next 3 to 4 weeks, as things ease here in our state, we don't know what's going to happen in Victoria and New South Wales, those buyers are still going to be aggressively pursuing properties here. And as I said, I'm getting 4 to 6 inquiries over the last 7 days. Call it 30 inquiries. That's 30 bulls ready to burst out of the gate just to the buyers that I've spoken to, not to mention all the other agents that I'm sure have been fielding and filtering through the same buyers' inquiries and getting them ready for us to launch and open back up this week. How exciting. Anyway, if you've got any real estate questions, whether it's selling, buying, developing or property management, reach out. I'm always just a call and I'm always at your service. I'm Chris Jansen from EXP Proudly, and I hope you found these little insights useful. But whatever you do, stay safe, stay healthy and be kind to each other, and let's get down to business. All right, folks, bye for now.